progress between Saudi Arabia and Israel was progressing incredibly well.
We'll build a new corridor of peace and prosperity that connects Asia through the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, to Europe.
Tucked away in Northern California, Silicon Valley stands as a beacon of global innovation. Home to technology giants like Apple, Google, and Meta, this region continues to push the boundaries of the high-tech industry. Silicon Valley's entrepreneurial spirit is palpable, with a thriving ecosystem that fosters creativity, collaboration, and risk-taking. Halfway across the world in West Asia, a parallel narrative was being written. Silicon Wadi, Israel's answer to Silicon Valley, was on a mission to carve out its own tech industry. Israel harnessed a highly skilled workforce, and the regime poured resources to transform the arid Negev desert into a global technology hub. But then, Israel, celebrated for its dynamic startup ecosystem, was hit by a grave security crisis. The call to arms for over 300,000 workers through the sector that contributed 18% to Israel's GDP. Businesses closed down, flights were grounded, and a once bustling tourism industry fell into a deep slumber. Fundraising came to a standstill. Employees were missing from their desks, and uncertainty hung in the air. The once vibrant landscape of innovation was grappling with challenges of an unprecedented scale. David Ben-Gurion, one of the founding fathers of Israel, underscored the significance of security amidst existential threats. His doctrine, a tripartite formula, was often encapsulated as the 3 Ds: deterrence, early detection, and decisive victory. The doctrine has been a cornerstone of Israel's military strategy for generations. Since its self-proclamation as a so-called state in 1948, announced by David Ben-Gurion, the regime has found itself on a collision course with regional countries due to its occupation of Palestinian lands. This move, coupled with the limited strategic depth of the occupied territories and the demographic challenges posed by a small population, largely comprised of immigrants, created a complex and challenging situation. Ben-Gurion was acutely aware of these vulnerabilities and crafted his doctrine in response. The doctrine's core principle is to instill a sense of fear in Israel's adversaries before they contemplate an attack. The first D, deterrence, is about demonstrating strength, making the price of attack prohibitively high for potential foes. If deterrence falls short, the second D, early detection, springs into action. Israel must spot threats well in advance to rally its reserve forces, readying for a potential conflict. The aim is to shift the battleground to enemy territory, preferably through preemptive strikes. The third D, decisive victory, implies that the victory should be swift, enabling the regime to revert to normalcy as swiftly as possible. According to this part of the doctrine, Israel should avoid long, protracted conflicts. It involves swift offensive operations relying on the use of smaller units supported by massive firepower. The idea is to escalate very early and quickly, destroying the enemy's capabilities with massive firepower in the first few hours of the conflict. The Israeli-occupied territory's geographical constraints present a unique challenge. With a limited strategic depth, the regime cannot afford the luxury of a drawn-out conflict. A drawn-out war could deplete the workforce, disrupt the economic rhythm, and strain the regime's resources. Therefore, a swift victory is not just a military objective, but an economic imperative. It allows the regime to return to normalcy as quickly as possible, minimizing the disruption to its economy. As we delve deeper into the fabric of Israel's economy, we need to journey back in time to understand the roots of its current state. Following 1948, Israel found itself grappling with the challenge of absorbing a massive influx of immigrants. The economy was characterized by austerity measures and population-building efforts, with agriculture and budding industries like textile and food processing playing pivotal roles. The 1960s and 70s marked a period of industrialization for Israel. The regime championed key industries, notably military, technology, and agriculture. Military industries, fueled by Israel's occupation and the hostilities, became significant contributors to the economy. From the 1980s onwards, Israel embarked on a journey to craft an image of itself as a nexus of technology and innovation. The regime implemented policies encouraging entrepreneurship and innovation. The main catalyst for the technological progress was the Israeli military. Many Israeli high-tech firms have their roots in military technology. These firms have transformed military technologies into products in the surveillance, internet, wireless, and medical technology sectors. Israel's economy has been shaped by a series of decisions, geopolitical realities, and a drive for innovation. But what are the main pillars that hold up the economic structure? Israel's economy is a complex tapestry. The first pillar of Israel's economy is its startup ecosystem, particularly in areas like cybersecurity, biotechnology, and telecommunications. Cities such as Tel Aviv have strived to earn monikers like Silicon Wadi. Meanwhile, companies like Intel, Checkpoint Software, and Mobileye have striven to position Israel on the global map, contributing significantly to the regime's exports. By supporting research and development, coupled with the contributions of academic institutions like the Technion and the Weizmann Institute, Israel has tried to foster an environment conducive to innovation. The second pillar is the military industry. Israel's ongoing occupation of territories has created adversaries. Leading to substantial investments in the development of advanced military technology, which has become a significant contributor to the economy. The third pillar is foreign investments. Israel has made efforts to draw in substantial foreign investment, enticing global companies to establish research and development centers within the Israeli-occupied territories. The regime has actively courted foreign investors, enticing multinational corporations to set up research and development centers. A shining example of this initiative is the Invest in Israel media campaign. The campaign is a marketing strategy, calling on the world and inviting investors to partake in the regime's economy. It tries to paint a picture of Israel as a land of opportunity, a fertile ground for investment.
A wonderful opportunity to have a meeting between
On a day that etched itself into the annals of Israel's history, a Saturday, October 7th, a seismic event unfolded. It wasn't a haphazard catastrophe, but a meticulously planned military operation by Palestinians that shook the very foundations of Israel's economy, among other things. Hamas fighters descended from paragliders in the sky. In a daring display of power, a wave of heavily armed resistance fighters, many mounted on motorcycles, penetrated the fortified boundaries that separate Israel from Gaza. This audacious act was made possible after they successfully neutralized the AI-enhanced surveillance systems. This operation, named Al-Aqsa Flood, challenged the perceived invincibility of the high-tech security measures. Simultaneously, Palestinian fighters on motorboats stormed the beaches, creating a multi-pronged assault that left Israeli troops and settlers in a state of shock. The operation, the result of 2 years of careful planning, represented a significant breach in Israel's military, the likes of which had not been witnessed since the Arab Army's conflict in 1973. It sent shockwaves through the Israeli economy, causing a ripple effect that reverberated across various sectors. The Israeli economy faced a new challenge. The audacity and scale of this operation, which had the potential to inflict more profound and longer-lasting economic damage, was unlike anything they had seen before.
Revenues are falling and borrowing costs are increasing. The central bank says the war has proven to be more costly than initially estimated, and many analysts expect the economic impact will be unlike anything that Israel has experienced in decades.
Just as an earthquake lays bare the vulnerabilities in a city's infrastructure, the operation exposed the cracks in Israel's military and economy. This was a direct hit to the core of the Ben-Gurion doctrine. Operation Al-Aqsa Flood, staged by Hamas, sent shockwaves through the pillars of Israel's economy, leaving a trail of uncertainty in its wake. The tremors of the operation rattled the bedrock of the startup ecosystem, military industry, and global investments once thought to be unshakable. These sectors grappled with a reality far from the solidity they were believed to possess. Israel's startup ecosystem, a hub contributing a significant 18% to the regime's GDP, was dealt a severe blow. The call to arms saw a workforce reduction of 10 to 15% in high-tech companies, disrupting the rhythm of economy and casting a pall over the future of these startups. This ecosystem that Israel aspired to become a fertile ground for novel ideas now grappled with uncertainty. This chilling effect deterred investors and entrepreneurs, stifling the growth of the sector. The military industry, despite a surge in demand for military capabilities, was caught in a paradox. The diversion of resources to meet the escalating military needs threatened the economic balance. High-tech exports, responsible for nearly half of the regime's total exports, amounting to $71 billion in 2022, faced the storm of disrupted trade and strained diplomatic ties.
The progress between Saudi Arabia and Israel was progressing incredibly well.
This sector, once the beacon of Israel's global reach, was now under threat, impacting Israel's international standing and economic stability. As 2023 unfurled its first quarter, a frosty gust of economic downturn swept through Israel. The regime, once enjoying foreign investments, saw the transactions nosedive to a paltry $2.6 billion. This represented a precipitous 60% fall when compared to the same quarters in previous years. The Hamas operation continued to cast a pall over the investment climate. The uncertainty, notorious for its chilling effect on investors, loomed large, threatening to choke off Israel's economic growth. Amidst this economic turbulence, even supporters of Israel felt the tremors. People worldwide initiated a boycott against Starbucks, the global coffee giant, due to its ties to the Israeli economy. Howard Schultz, former CEO and major shareholder, known for his staunch support of Zionism, faced the backlash. His investment in the Israeli cybersecurity startup Wiz made headlines. But cost the company a staggering $11 billion in market value. Following the Al-Aqsa flood operation, the shekel, Israel's currency, experienced a shock, reaching a 14-year low, while the benchmark stock index saw a decline of about 10% in 2023. The Bank of Israel, in response to the US-Israeli genocide in Gaza, revised its growth outlook for 2023 and 2024. The central bank anticipated a modest 2% growth for both years, a significant drop from its previous forecast of 2.3% for 2023 and 2.8% for 2024. An analysis by the American nonprofit global policy think tank RAND Corporation suggested that the ongoing conflict could cost Israel a staggering $400 billion in economic activity over the next decade. As the Israeli economy found itself shaken by the tremors of Operation Al-Aqsa flood, the tourism sector, a vital cog in this economic machine, cannot be overlooked. It directly contributes 2.8% to Israel's gross value added and 3.6% to total employment, namely 141,000 jobs. Israel has harnessed the power of social media influencers to amplify its tourism sector and bolster its global image. A case in point is American pop singer and Instagram influencer Demi Lovato, who reportedly received $150,000 to visit Israel and share her experiences on social media. In the shadow of the conflict, Israel's travel industry teeters on the brink. Thousands of jobs were at risk if the regime aid ceased. Their activity nosedived by 80% by the end of 2023, with travel agencies operating at a mere fifth of their pre-war capacity. The once vibrant tourism sector, now a ghost of its former self, plummeted by a staggering 95%. The US-Israeli genocide in Gaza increased Israel's debt. The regime amassed approximately 30 billion shekels, equivalent to $7.8 billion in debt after the onset of the US-Israeli genocide in Gaza. Israel's economic future looks increasingly precarious. Morgan has revised its forecast, predicting that Israel will run a budget deficit of 4.5% in 2024, a significant increase from the previously projected 2.9%. This could push the regime's debt-to-gross domestic product ratio to approximately 63% by the end of 2024, compared to 57.4% before the US-Israeli genocide in Gaza. The conflict significantly increased Israel's expenses. Eilon Levy, a spokesperson for the Israeli regime, revealed the staggering aftermath of the Hamas operation. More than 200,000 Israelis find themselves uprooted. This mass exodus bears a significant economic burden. The Israeli Ministry of Finance's preliminary estimates suggest that the conflict with Hamas in the Gaza Strip might cost up to $51 billion, equivalent to nearly half the regime's annual budget. This projection is based on the conflict confined to Gaza lasting between 8 to 12 months and not involving full participation of other resistance factions in the region, like Lebanon's Hezbollah. In the intricate game of geopolitical chess, a new player has emerged: Yemen. This nation, previously overlooked and underestimated, now draws attention in the geopolitical arena. It is situated near the strategic waters of Bab el-Mandeb, a narrow choke point connecting the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden and the Indian Ocean. It has long been a geopolitical hotspot. This region has borne witness to serious incidents against Israeli-linked ships. In a daring display of naval strength, Yemen's Ansarullah movement seized the Israeli-affiliated cargo ship Galaxy Leader, linked to an Israeli billionaire. The capture, executed by the Yemenis descending from a helicopter, underscored the Yemenis' maritime prowess and its persistent presence in the strategic waterway. The reality on the ground showed Ansarullah movement was a well-prepared army. Their target, 2 commercial vessels with ties to Israel. The targeted ships, Unity Explorer and Number 9, met their fate in the strategic Bab el-Mandeb Strait. Unity Explorer was struck by a naval missile, and Number 9 was targeted by a drone attack after disregarding Yemeni naval units' warnings to proceed to Hodeidah port. The USS Carney, an Ali Burke-class destroyer, encountered the strikes and interfered in the Yemeni operation. Ali al-Qahoum, a member of the Ansarullah movement's political bureau, issued a stern warning in the aftermath, stating that Yemen would continue to target Israeli ships, and those who protect them should expect similar strikes. The Yemenis didn't stop there. They issued a broader warning, stating their intent to target all vessels bound for Israel, irrespective of their country of origin. The movement's spokesperson made it clear, if Gaza is denied the food and medicine it requires, all ships in the Red Sea destined for Israeli ports will find themselves in the crosshairs of their military forces.
And what Ansarullah is doing is largely bloodless to this point. They're basically disrupting shipping in the Red Sea, shipping related to Israel. Now they've expanded to US and UK ships because the US and UK are attacking them. And they've been attacking them for years through their Saudi proxy. Now they're attacking them directly. What they're seeking to do is apply economic pressure on Israel to get it to stop this genocidal assault.
In response, the United States attempted to forge an alliance in the Red Sea, but faced formidable challenges. The ambitious Operation Prosperity Guardian, designed to create a defensive coalition of over 20 nations. A number of countries, including European and Indo-Pacific powers, hesitated to join the task force. Concerns about escalating the conflict and a political unwillingness to counter Yemeni attacks alone fueled their reluctance. Moreover, pivotal players like Saudi Arabia remained non-committal, further eroding the strength of the US intervention in the region.
Of course, we are concerned about the potential for escalation. Our region is very complex, and we do not need any other conflicts to erupt, and therefore we hope that we will be able to avoid any further escalations in our region.
Afterwards, the US tried to put on a show of military might as American and British warplanes unleashed 73 missiles on 5 Yemeni regions, including the capital Sana'a and the provinces of Hodeidah, Taiz, Hajjah, and Sada. The strikes resulted in the tragic loss of at least 5 lives and left 6 others wounded. But the intended impact remained elusive. The Yemeni armed forces, unyielding in their resolve, vowed to persist in their assaults on Israeli-linked vessels. In response to the airstrikes, Ansarullah unleashed a fresh missile attack in the Red Sea.
These people are creating a total trade blockade, which is causing inflation, which is causing all sorts of problems to everybody.
25,000 people are dead in Gaza right now. There are over 60,000 people injured with no access to food, water, aid. How dare we have a conversation about trade when there are children right now being treated without anesthetic?
Well,
there are things that require us to make some sacrifices, and this would be one of them.
They do have the global economy, global markets hostage.
Good for them. If you want to stop the Houthis doing what they're doing, then call a ceasefire right now.
Do you genuinely believe that the Houthis would stop doing what they're doing?
They have literally said that that's why they're doing what they're doing. They have not previously blocked those routes for any other reason except this one. So yes, I do. And I also think the West needs to start to understand that you cannot just go around playing cowboys in the world. There are consequences to your actions. You cannot just go around bombing people's countries, ignoring international law, and expect no repercussions. For every cause, there is a consequence.
This maritime warfare marked a new chapter in the regional conflict, with far-reaching implications. But why did Ansarullah target Israel in that particular area? Ships from Israel's 2 primary ports, Haifa and Ashdod, located in the western Israeli-occupied territories, reach East Asia by navigating through the Mediterranean Sea, the Suez Canal, and the Red Sea. Yet, an alternative route exists. Tucked away at the northern tip of the Gulf of Aqaba, south of the Israeli-occupied territories, lies the port of Eilat. The port, Israel's lone gateway to the Red Sea, plays a crucial role in the regime's maritime landscape. The Red Sea's strategic importance to Israel is undeniable, serving as a vital conduit for its trade with East Asia, including major partners like India and China. But Yemen disrupted the status quo in these strategic waters. In response to the recent attacks in the Red Sea, shipping companies demanded extensive military protection for their vessels in West Asia. One industry representative stated, "In the case of extreme attacks, we are like sitting ducks. No one can stop such attacks unless it is a military force." Israeli supply chains, the lifeblood of the regime, were under threat as vessels were seized, stirring up a tempest of concern. The Eilat port, a vital hub in this intricate network, bore witness to a significant decline in activity and revenue attributed to relentless Yemeni attacks in the Red Sea. The once bustling port grappled with an alarming 85% drop in activity, particularly impacting the handling of crucial car imports and potash exports. Satellite images published by the Egyptian network Al-Qahira Al-Ikhbariya laid bare the severity of the situation at the port of Eilat in the south of occupied Palestine, depicting a scene of deserted docks devoid of any ships. The predicament is intensified by the harsh reality of geography. There are no simple detours, no easy escapes. The display of maritime prowess by Yemen's Ansarullah triggered a surge in costs due to escalated insurance premiums and the necessity for heightened security measures. Shipping firms began contemplating alternative pathways, such as the lengthy detour around Africa to bypass the Red Sea, inevitably leading to inflated expenses and extended transit durations. Israel suddenly found itself grappling with an unforeseen ordeal. Resistance forces had seized control of 2 out of the 3 strategic straits, a turn of events that Israel could have hardly envisioned. The senior member of the Supreme Political Council of Yemen, Mohammed Ali al-Houthi, said the naval operations shattered the Zionist vision of a new Ben Gurion Canal, marking a strategic shift in the region's power dynamics. This ambitious project was first proposed in the 1960s. It aimed to carve a path from the Gulf of Aqaba to the Mediterranean Sea, offering an alternative to the Suez Canal. The Ben Gurion Canal would start from the Gulf of Aqaba, passing through the port city of Eilat. Israel has also signed up to be part of another ambitious plan, the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor, or IMEC. This visionary project aims to weave together Asia, the Persian Gulf, and Europe, creating an artery of commerce and connectivity. The journey of the IMEC corridor begins in the bustling ports of India, reaching out across the shores of the United Arab Emirates. From there, it traverses the vast expanse of the Arabian Peninsula, threading its way through the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan. At the heart of this network, the Israeli port of Haifa emerges as a junction. Here, goods from the east are gathered, ready to embark on the next leg of their journey. From Haifa, they are dispatched across the Mediterranean to Piraeus in Greece, a gateway to the diverse markets of Europe. Currently, the voyage of cargo from India to Europe is a journey that threads through the bustling arteries of the Suez Canal. Although sea voyages are often longer than rail journeys, they tend to be more cost-effective. This is why the existing sea route is not significantly longer than the proposed IMEC path.
But today I bring this marker to show a great blessing, the blessing of a new Middle East between Israel, Saudi Arabia, and our other neighbors. We will not only bring down barriers between Israel and our neighbors, we'll build a new corridor of peace and prosperity that connects Asia through the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, to Europe. This is an extraordinary change.
Beneath the surface of the ambitious project, experts caution about potential pitfalls. The IMEC's economic viability, they argue, hinges on the smooth transition of goods from land to sea and back again. The ideal scenario is a seamless journey, with no need for the cargo to be loaded and unloaded multiple times. However, the current design of the IMEC presents a different picture. It includes 2 instances of loading and unloading, a process that could significantly inflate costs. The cargo begins its journey in Mumbai, loaded onto ships bound for West Asia. It's then unloaded and loaded again at 2 points en route before making its final journey to Piraeus in Greece. Each of these transitions is not just a logistical challenge, but also a financial burden. Farrokh Salim, a financial analyst, argues that the corridor project is a pipe dream, fraught with logistical, economic, political, and environmental challenges. In the labyrinth of global trade, corridors are meticulously designed for security, ensuring the smooth transit of millions of containers. Yet, the region's transformation post-October 7th has cast a shadow of uncertainty. Business magnates now question the safety of their cargo along the IMEC corridor. This sentiment is echoed by investors who view the prospect of pouring capital into a project in a region riddled with security concerns as an economically unsound decision. The US-Israeli genocide in Gaza further casts a shadow over the corridor plan, with experts like Chintamani Mahapatra believing that the whole idea of IMEC is getting lost. Benjamin Netanyahu has been at the helm of Israel as its prime minister for 16 long years. The longest-serving premier of the regime. With an academic foundation in business management and experience in the Israeli private sector, he ascended to the role of Israel's finance minister in 2003 and served until 2005. Drawing inspiration from the Ben-Gurion Doctrine, Netanyahu understood the intricate interplay between stability, security, and a flourishing economy.
Do the Palestinians have a right to a separate state?
Well, I think that no, I don't think they do, but I think that
nobody wants peace more than Israel. But the stumbling block to the road for peace is this demand for a PLO state, which will mean more war, which will mean more violence in the Middle East. And I sincerely believe, if this demand is abandoned, we can have real and genuine peace.
He aspired to fortify Israel's security, leveraging advancements in artificial intelligence and trying to cultivate an image of himself as Mr. Security. However, the tranquility was shattered on October 7th. Operation Al-Aqsa Flood was a mortal wound, sending a chill down the spine of the Ben-Gurion Doctrine and Israel's security foundation. The very pillars Netanyahu had erected trembled under the impact. The Palestinian operation shattered Netanyahu's dream of establishing unwavering security in Israel and advancing international economic projects. In the US-Israeli genocide in Gaza, the destruction of buildings can be seen with the naked eye. However, the ruins of Israel's economic projects, destroyed by Operation Al-Aqsa Flood, will only become apparent in the future. The future of Israel's economy now hangs in the balance, with the full impact of the operation yet to be seen.